Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Vandana Dave from Women Studies Research Center, Kurukshetra University. Today, I am going to talk about module Violence Against Women, Domestic Violence, Trafficking of Girls and Women, Sexual Harassment at Workplace, from paper Current Debates and Women in Contemporary Indian Society. The learning objective of the module are to make the readers aware about various forms of violence against women and the legal provisions to safeguard her. Women in modern India are in a state of paradox. On the one hand, she is at the peak of ladder of success. On the other hand, she is mutely suffering the violence afflicted on her either by her own family members or by the community. Although the Constitution of India guarantees to all women equality of opportunity to work, freedom of speech, protection of life, and personal liberty, and it allows special provisions to be made by the state in favor of women, and also renounces practices derogatory to the dignity of women. But in actual sense, a lot of women are not in a condition to enjoy these constitutional rights. Not only the social evils like female feticide, child marriage, dowry are the barriers, but several other problems like crime against women, domestic violence, trafficking of women, sexual harassment at the workplace originated out of the deep rooted patriarchal social setup hinder the upward movement of a woman. She feels unsafe not only out of the domestic boundaries but also within the four walls of the family. Besides, several social legislations in place to provide women a safe environment, she is suffering with great disabilities. Gender-based violence has now emerged as a global issue, cutting the boundaries of regional, social, cultural, and economic status of the society. It results in millions of tragedies, which add up to lost potential for entire country. Violence against women. Violence against women includes not only physical violence but also sexual, psychological, and emotional abuse. Many forms of violence are not even recognized as such and are ignored, condoned, or justified by involving religious, cultural, or traditional beliefs. The term violence against women refers to many types of harmful behavior directed at men and girls because of their sex. In 1993, the United Nations offered the first official definition of such violence when the General Assembly adopted the Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Any act of gender-based violence that result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or psychological harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or private life. The widespread violence against women is seen both as an indicator and means of perpetuating the subordinate status of women, which also manifests itself through various forms of structural violence such as low health status, lack of access to education and employment. Violence against women is a manifestation of unequal power relation, which has led to man's domination over and discrimination against women. It helps to keep the structure of patriarchy intact. Violence against women can be divided into two categories. First is physical, sexual, and psychological violence occurring within the community, including rape, sexual abuse, and intimidation at work or elsewhere, trafficking of women, and forced prostitution. Second is physical, sexual, and psychological violence occurring in the family, including battering, sexual abuse of female children in the household, dowry related violence, and other traditional practices harmful to women, and non spousal violence. Violence includes physical violence, which means hitting, slapping, kicking, beating, pushing, or punching. Sexual violence includes coercive sex, rape, molestation, and harassment. Emotional violence consists of intentional attempt to humiliate and insult the person. Psychological violence means any threats which are intentionally directed to humiliate or blackmail or injure the person emotionally. Economic violence. It is denying fulfilling economic needs or creating financial dependence. Intimidation, which includes making women afraid by using actions, gestures, looks, and by any weapon. Isolation, which means controlling behavior like isolating women from family and friends, monitoring her movements, and restricting her access to resources. Various forms of violence against women have been categorized as crimes against women under various sections of Indian Penal Code. Its description is like rape, the threat of sexual violence aims to restricting women's physical mobility and to punish women who flout social norms in most societies. It is a common crime against women which leaves the victim suffering not just physically but psychologically too, compounded by an additional stigma. Moreover, women are held responsible for any sexual misconduct which leads to shame for a family. As per the statistics provided by the National Crime Records Bureau in 2012, Madhya Pradesh was at the top among Indian states with 3,425 incidences of rape, which contributed to 13.74% in the total crime committed against women. Rajasthan ranked second with 2,049 incidents of rape, and West Bengal was at the third position with 2,046 incidents. Section 375 and 376 of the IPC provides the definition and punishment for the offense of rape. It says that a man is said to commit rape who, except in the case hereinafter accepted, has sexual intercourse with a woman under circumstances falling under any of the seven following descriptions: against her will, without her consent, with her consent, when her consent has been obtained by putting her or any person in whom she is interested in fear of death or of hurt, with her consent, when the man knows that he is not her husband and that her consent is given because she believes that he is another man to whom she is or believes herself to be lawfully married, with her consent, when at the time of giving such consent, by reason of unsoundness of mind or intoxication, she is unable to understand the nature and consequences of that to which she gives consent, with or without her consent, when she is under 18 years of age, when she is unable to communicate consent, and the last one is the punishment for rape is rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term not less than 7 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and a fine. Kidnapping and abduction. Kidnapping and abduction of a girl is a common crime pervasive in the society. The reason behind kidnapping is not only money extortion but also sexual assault. Sometimes kidnapping and sexual abuse of a girl child is done to take revenge from the aggrieved family. Girls are also being kidnapped for the purpose of forced begging, forced prostitution, blackmailing, or any other sexual crime. It was reported by the National Crime Records Bureau 2012 that West Bengal recorded the highest incidences of kidnapping and abduction, with 4,168 cases, followed by 3,789 incidents in Bihar and 3,360 in Assam. Mizoram has the least incidences of kidnapping, which is only 3. Sections 363 to C 369 and 371 to 373 of the Indian Penal Code deal with the crime of kidnapping and abduction. It says that whoever kidnaps or abducts any woman with intent that she may be compelled to marry someone against her will, or in order to seduce sexually, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years with a fine. Sexual harassment. The threat of sexual harassment follows girls and women throughout their lives. Section 509 of the Indian Penal Code deals with offence regarding words, gestures, or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman, and the punishment for this abuse is imprisonment for a term extendable up to 1 year, or with fine, or with both. As per the recommendations of Justice Verma Committee report constituted after the Nirbhaya incidents of Delhi, Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 came into force. This section deals the sexual harassment in 4 ways. Section 354A says that sexual harassment means a man committing any act of physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overtures, or a demand or request for sexual favors, or showing pornography against the will of a woman, or making sexually colored remarks. The punishment for this act is imprisonment for a term extendable to 3 years, or fine, or both. Section 354B of the Indian Penal Code is related to assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe, which means that any man who assaults or uses criminal force to any woman or abets such act with the intention of disrobing or compelling her to be naked shall be punished with imprisonment extendable to 7 years or with fine or with both. Section 354C of the Indian Penal Code deals with the offence of voyeurism. Any man who watches or captures the image of a woman engaging in a private act where she would usually have the expectation of not being observed by anyone or disseminates such image shall be punished with imprisonment extendable to 3 years on first offence and on subsequent conviction punishment extendable to 7 years and a fine. Section 354D is related to stalking. Any man who follows a woman and contacts or attempts to contact such woman to foster personal interaction repeatedly despite a clear indication of disinterest by such woman or monitors the use by a woman of the internet, email, or any other form of electronic communication commits the offence of stalking. This offence is liable to 3 years imprisonment. The highest percentage of crime under Section 509 of Indian Penal Code was recorded in Andhra Pradesh, which was 40.49%. Under Section 354 of the IPC, Madhya Pradesh was at the top with 14.67% of total crime. Dowry and dowry death. It is a common practice of North India which is perpetuated by the materialistic culture of the society. Dowry is a payment in cash or kind given by the bride's family to the groom's family intended to help with marriage expenses. Dowry has become extravagant and a burden on girls' family. There is no reliable statistics on the number of cases of dowry harassment and dowry deaths due to non-reporting. As per the records of National Crime Records Bureau 2012, Andhra Pradesh has the highest number of cases, which are 2,511 under Dowry Prohibition Act, followed by Odisha with 1,487 cases. With regard to cases of cruelty by husband or his relatives, West Bengal has the highest percentage, that is 18.65%. For dowry deaths, Uttar Pradesh has the highest incidences, that is 2,244. The Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 defines dowry as any property or valuable security given or agreed to be given, either directly or indirectly, by one party to a marriage to other party to the marriage, or by the persons of either party to a marriage, or by any other person at or before or any time after the marriage. The person guilty of giving or accepting dowry may be imprisoned for a minimum of 5 years and fined not less than rupees 15,000 or the amount of the value of the dowry, whichever is more. Domestic violence. It is a universal phenomena and also a method to keep women subordinated in a patriarchal social system. Domestic violence, in its broader sense, is violence among members of a family or members of a household. It implies any type of discrimination or violence that is inflicted by any member of the family upon the other member of the family. The relation could be both natal and nuptial. Causes of domestic violence can be broadly divided into two categories. The individual characteristics of the abuser includes individual problems such as unemployment, stress, poverty, physical challenge, and lack of material resources. The other reason is the patriarchal control of men over women. The other reasons may be alcoholism, extramarital affair, attitudinal gap, not bearing a son, bringing little dowry, and many more. In the patriarchal setup, girls and women are socialized in a way that they internalize the notion of wife beating and feel that it is a right of a man to beat his wife. They do not take it as a breach of their right to live with dignity. Now, it is an offense under the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. Defining domestic violence, the Act says that any act of omission or commission or conduct which harms, injures, or endangers the health, safety, whether mental or physical, and includes physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, and economic abuse. Thus, the Act covers domestic violence in the following four ways. First is physical violence means beating, battering, slashing, pulling hair, hitting with some object. Next, sexual violence, which includes rape, undressing forcefully, or other kind of sexual abuse. Third is psychological violence, consists of threat to kill, torture, humiliation, threat to torture children or other family member. Fourth one is economic violence, which includes denial of basic facilities like food, health care, lack of access to resources, not giving money for maintenance of self and children. Under this Act, the magistrate may pass the following orders in favor of the aggrieved woman. First one is protection order, which means to prohibit the respondent from committing any act of domestic violence, entering the place of employment of the aggrieved woman, or attempting to communicate in any form. Second one is residence order, restraining the respondent from dispossessing the aggrieved women from the shared household. Third order is monetary relief, which means grant of monetary relief to the aggrieved women from the respondent to meet the expenses incurred and losses suffered. Fifth one is custody order, which means temporary custody of children. Sixth one is compensation order, directing the respondent to pay compensation or damage or both to the women for the injuries including mental torture and emotional distress. According to National Family Health Survey 3, conducted in 2005 and 6, one-third of the women aged 15 to 49 years have experienced physical violence and about 1 in 10 have experienced sexual violence. In total, 35% have experienced physical or sexual violence at the hands of their husbands and other family members. Trafficking of girls and women. Trafficking of minor girls and women is a worldwide phenomenon which is much prevalent in poor countries. Poor families with the desire to earn some money send their daughters to the nearby cities or towns through the mediator, who sells these girls again and again to earn more profit, and these girls become easy prey to exploitation. Similarly, poor livelihood options of the village push them to bring trafficked. Trafficking may be defined as the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons by means of threat or use of force or other forms of coercion, of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power, or of a position of vulnerability, or of giving or receiving the payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation. Two factors are responsible for this crime. One is the personal circumstances, and another is the socio-structural forces. One is the personal circumstances include women with low self-esteem, lack of self-control, low literacy level or awareness and information, economic deprivation and disability. Socio-structural factors include industrialization, globalization, economic decline or underdevelopment, privatization, urbanization, environmental factors, or some political factors like immigration policies. The traffickers are always in an opportunity to abduct or persuade or kidnap women and girls at the places like bus stops, construction work sites, rehabilitation areas, or even within homes. The movement of trafficked people is from less developed areas to more developed regions or from rural to urban, sometimes within the country and sometimes to neighboring countries or even to other continents. In India, Delhi and Mumbai are the main transit zones for international trafficking. The girls or women being trafficked are often used as laborers, but mostly used for prostitution, pornography, cybersex, and sex tourism. According to National Crime Records Bureau 2015 report, Tamil Nadu, with 500 cases of immoral trafficking, was at the top among the Indian states. Section 370 of the Indian Penal Code deals with the crime of trafficking of person. Sexual harassment at the workplace. Women have been subjected to harassment, trauma, and victimization by co-workers or seniors through threat and other pressures. Employers abuse their authority to seek sexual favors from their female subordinates and sometimes promising promotions or other forms of career advancement. Women who refuse to give in to such unwanted sexual advances often have the risk of demotion or dismissal from the workplace. The type of harassment may range from physical to psychological. Making offensive comments to women colleagues is the most common type of violence committed by men for the satisfaction of their male ego. Harassment is most often an issue of power, with harassers often holding organizational power or supervisory authority over those they harass. Harassment is defined as unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature when submission to or rejection of this conduct explicitly or implicitly affects an individual's employment, unreasonably interferes with an individual's work performance, or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. In India, the issue of sexual harassment of women at the workplace attracted the attention of people related to women's movement, academicians, and the public after the brutal gang rape of a worker of a women development program when she tried to stop child marriage as a part of her duties. The feudal patriarchs, annoyed by her courage, wanted to teach her a lesson. On behalf of that woman, Vishakha, a women's rights group, filed a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court of India. The Supreme Court in 1997 for the first time acknowledged sexual harassment at the workplace as a human rights violation. Its judgment was called as Vishakha Guidelines, which had the effect of the law. Subsequently, in April 2013, the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention and Redressal Act was passed. It says that sexual harassment results in violation of the fundamental rights of a woman to equality, her right to life and to live with dignity, right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business, which includes a right to a safe environment free from sexual harassment. As per the Act, sexual harassment includes any contact and advances or a demand or request for sexual favors or making sexually colored remarks or showing pornography or any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. The workplace means any organized or unorganized public or private organization, enterprise, establishment or institution, hospital, sports complex, house or any place visited by the employee during the course of employment. Every employer of a workplace is abide by the law to constitute an internal complaints committee to deal with the complaints of sexual harassment. Besides this, every district officer has also to constitute a district level committee called the Local Complaints Committee. Any aggrieved woman may make a complaint of sexual harassment to the police under Section 354A or to the Internal Complaints Committee or the Local Complaints Committee constituted under the Sexual Harassment Act. So, students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. The issue of violence against women has been recognized as a basic human rights issue. Violence can be divided into community violence and family violence. There are various forms of violence against women like rape, kidnapping and abduction, sexual harassment, dowry, domestic violence, trafficking of girls and women, and the sexual harassment at the workplace. There are a number of laws in place to deal with such crimes against women, but due to various reasons, the crime rate is on the rise. Gender-based violence has now emerged as a global issue, cutting the boundaries of regional, social, cultural, and economic status of the society. It results in millions of tragedies, which add up to lost potential for entire country. Thank you.